Alright, welcome. Tommy Wave here, back with part 3 of the Budget Deck series. Thank you for coming back. I've had a lot of amazing feedback on the last two videos, so I was both keen and very scared to get into this episode, and I'm sure you'll understand why. Once again, we'll go through the criteria of the Budget Deck series. No set dust limit on our decks. We don't want to put arbitrary numbers out there. We're going to focus on the core of a deck, and then you can chop and change the pieces around that. But I'm going to try and outline the really integral elements to it. This third one is something that might not be totally applicable to today's deck, but having a reasonable upgrade path on our deck so that we can invest some more dust in it and get a good high tier deck out of our dust expenditure. And number 4, we're going to try and prioritize cards that aren't rotating. Don't want you guys to be crafting epics and rares and legendaries that you're only going to get to play for a month or so. So with that in mind, as you might have seen if you're watching this on YouTube, today we are doing Warrior. And Warrior has been in a pretty sad state. Unfortunately, at the latest Vicious Syndicate report, there's only 1 or 1.5% of the metagame or something. And usually this is the part where I go through some viable Warrior decks that are out there, but unfortunately there aren't any. So it was a bit of a struggle to find a reasonable budget option that, like I was saying before, has a good upgrade path. But I was tinkering around with some stuff last night, and I actually came up with a build that looks fairly well positioned in the metagame right now. It's quite good against Paladin, and there are a lot of Paladins out there. And it's actually pretty fun to play. I enjoy playing it, so hopefully you'll like it. What we're going to do is we're going to do the Spellstone Warrior. So we'll take a look at the core of the deck. The deck focuses around the lesser mithril Spellstone. So all these Spellstones are cards that do a thing, and you can upgrade them, and they do more things once you upgrade them. So this one summons a 5/5 Golem for 7, which is a terrible rate. But if we equip a weapon, it's going to upgrade to summon 2 5/5s, and a third one will summon 3 5/5s. I'm not usually a fan of trying to put expensive cards, mana cost wise, in your budget decks. I think a lot of budget decks, you're better off trying to be aggressive and killing your opponent before they play their powerful legendaries. But this, I think, is a great curve topper. You know, summoning 15 power worth of golems is pretty strong. Now, to the weapons that we're going to be playing to upgrade this, the ones I've chosen: N'Zoth's First Mate. This is a really powerful 1-drop, especially with a lot of 1 toughness minions out there. We can get a lot of good trades with our weapon, or we can even use it to chip down on things like Void Walkers or Flame Imps, taking a bit of pain. But we can use it to chip those down so that we can maintain board control. Not getting any of the pirate synergies out of this one, unfortunately, and sad to see it rotate. We've also got the Fiery War Axe, 3 mana for a 3/2. It's always been good, and especially right now, Warlock Paladin, a lot of 3 toughness creatures. This is actually does quite a good job. Bloodraiser. So this one, I was tossing around with either doing Bloodraiser or Arcanite Reaper, and I think right now we want to be using our weapons for board control rather than going face. And Bloodraiser also synergizes with some of the cards we'll get into in the kind of muscle of the deck. But you can feel free to chop and change, maybe try and put a 7th weapon in the deck, or cut one of them and see how that performs for you. But I think this is a solid core for what we're going to be trying to do. And you can see it's very small, so you've got plenty of flexibility in there. So here's what I came up with. Now, in my testing for a whole bunch of different warrior decks, we did drop down to a rank 10 0 stars. But once I found this build, I pretty much took this deck as it is from rank 10 0 stars to rank 8 0 stars. So we were winning some games, which I thought I was honestly like taking bets as to how many games it would take for me to win one with a budget warrior deck. And most people, I thought 4 was a pretty generous offering, but we're actually winning some games. We're going on some streaks, and you know, it's like I said, it's quite good against Paladin. And we'll go into some of the choices, some of the reasons why that is. So, one thing with this Spellstone is we want to be able to both draw the Spellstone early, and make sure that we have weapons to upgrade it. So I've included a lot of draw in this deck. One of the advantages that Warrior has is that it's possibly the best Acolyte of Pain deck, it and a Mage, just because we have access to cards like Ravaging Ghoul and Bloodrazor, Whirlwind if you want to include that. Just as lots of ways of triggering our Acolyte the turn that it comes down, making sure that we get 2 or 3 draws off of it. So we've got Acolyte of Pain, Loot Hoarder, and Battle Rage to help go through our deck, draw those weapons, draw the Spellstones early, and also not have it be a dead card in our hand early on. You know, it's very different if you have 3 cards in hand, one of them's a Spellstone and it's turn 3 or 4, versus you have 5 or 6 cards in hand and one of them's a Spellstone. You have more options with the other cards in your hand. So we've got some draw in there. Slam, I guess you could also count as draw, but honestly, Slam, this is one of the weaker cards in the deck, I think. Moving on from there, we've got kind of our main players in the deck. Basically, just the more consistent cards in Execute, Firefly. We could have chosen a bunch of different 1-drops, but I chose Firefly because it helps us fill out our curve and deploy multiple threats. And it has 2 toughness, so it's not dying to all our Whirlwind effects, which is what happens, unfortunately, with our N'Zoth's first mate. But this is a reason why I chose not to include cards like Glacial Shard. Although I think testing with maybe a Dire Mole could be pretty interesting. So we've got our Firefly, Slam, Execute being phenomenal removal. That's one of the few ways the deck has to deal with bigger creatures. We've also got Frothing Berserker in here. So this is a rare that I've chosen to include. It synergizes really well with all the Whirlwind effects, and is just a card that, if your opponent doesn't deal with it early, it does snowball quite a lot. If they leave it on the field for a turn or 2, this thing can go way out of hand. So it does demand attention and demand to be dealt with, which for some decks out there is quite hard right now, unless they are Mage or you know, certain builds of Warlock. Actually dealing with this in the first 4 turns of the game is pretty tough. We've also got our Core Elite. Phenomenal card, nice stats, and this is going to help us try and be aggressive in that early game and trade for minions, keep control of the board. So that's it for the muscle. We've also got some other choices in here. Cruel Taskmaster, I think, is really good right now with a lot of 1 toughness minions out there. Just being able to have a 2/2 and kill one of your opponent's 1 or 2 drops feels really strong, though. You could definitely cut this or replace it with something like maybe Blood to Ichor if you have them, or like a Cleave. I think Cleave could be pretty interesting right now. And I've also chosen to include 2 Spellbreakers. I feel like I'm including Spellbreakers in every deck I make, just because when you are on a budget, it can really ruin your opponent's game plan. Though admittedly we are seeing less. I am seeing less decks where Spellbreaker is truly effective, so feel free to cut this for like the aforementioned Cleave or like an Acidic Swampers or something like that. Another thing to mention is you can kind of see the deck if you look at the curve. It does kind of top out at 4 and then jump up to 7. If you want to fill the curve in a bit more, you can maybe look at something like the Gurubashi Berserker. if you want to include some more like whirlwind synergies going on, Gurubashi Berserker is pretty good. Also works great with Cruel Taskmaster or Blood to Ica or something like that. Other than that, the other cards you could include Arathi Weaponsmith, similar to N'Zoth's First Mate. This is a creature that also comes with a weapon. Bloodhoof Brave, Grimy Gregetier are all great 4-drops, but if we look at our 5-drops, unfortunately Warrior doesn't get a whole bunch of great budget 5-drops, so feel free to experiment around with it and let me know what you come up with. But this is what we'll be running today, so I'm going to cut this off here and we'll be back with some games for you. Alright, we are here with the game against the Warlock. So definitely want to keep N'Zoth's First Mate. It's probably our best 1-drop. I think I'm going to keep Cruel Taskmaster as well. A lot of these Warlock decks will try and protect like a Kobold Librarian or a smaller creature behind a Voidwalker. So we can hope to kind of maneuver around that. We are listening to Donbor right now. New release. Just came out yesterday, I think. Sweet, so now we can use our weapon. It's definitely like it was probably worth considering not using the first charge on the weapon on face, but we do have so many weapons that usually it works out that that's what you do. Tap here makes me think that they're like Q-block. Unfortunately we don't have all of our plays are like reactive ones, not proactive ones. We could Cruel Taskmaster just to blow up our Loot Hoarder. I think I'm gonna do that. Just want to try and cycle through and try and hit a Spellstone or another weapon. Maybe double slam and hit with the weapon here. Frothing. Unfortunately, this feels like one of those draws where we're going to run out of gas. It's also worth considering trading off this N'Zoth's First Mate there so that they don't have a good defile. They get Hellfire anyway. I think I'm gonna go for Korkron here, because next turn we have like Frothing Fiery. It's pretty low, though. This is where we need our Spellbreakers. The Doomguard is not the greatest one, but we'll go for our Frothing and Fiery. We'll try and save this Execute for, I don't know, a bigger threat. Unfortunately, Execute not great in this. Not great against Void Lords. I mean, it's still fine, but... Guess we want to execute that. We are extremely low, so gotta try and close this one out sooner rather than later. But given our opponent has 7 mana, and all the cards in the world, I would say they have, they're gonna have something, some kind of answer here. Well, the second Hellfire's gone, so maybe frothing Ravaging Ghouls is pretty good here. Or do we want to do Blood Razor? No, I think we'll do Ravaging Ghoul. And then we can Battle Rage as well. That Spellbreaker could actually win us the game here if they don't clear our board. And rely on like a big taunt or something. Doubles. Why would they? Yeah, they must have doubles first. Spellbreaker. Okay. Interesting that they chose to silence Frothing. Is that game? It might be short. Short and dead next turn. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. I guess we could draw a Korkron if we just play the Fiery War Axe. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't see a world where they don't have Gul'dan here. N'Zoth? Damn. Oh well. Well played to our opponent. It was actually a pretty close one. Definitely some turns there where if we had our Spellbreakers a little bit earlier, or if we could step on the gas a bit more on turn 3, we've been a bit closer, but or even if we had our maybe a Spellstone earlier, like had some bigger plays on that, like turn 6, 7, 8, we might have been able to close it out. But you can kind of see that it was quite a close game there. Though our opponent did do a lot of the heavy lifting for us in terms of damaging themselves. Alright, I think I want to keep this Ravaging Ghoul against Paladin. Great. If this was N'Zoth's first mate, this would be a fantastic hand. Firefly matches up pretty well against Argent Protector. No Argent Protector there. Can coin Ravaging Ghoul and trade in? This gives us like some board presence to go with our Frothing Berserker. Like, even if they just have like Rallying Blade here, the Berserker matches up pretty well against that. And anything other than them clearing this could potentially set us up for a Battle Rage in the next couple of turns. What's we want to do here? We just want to play the Berserker and trade. This 4 toughness is a bit awkward. If they have War Leader here, that's pretty good for them. Like War Leader trade. So our follow-up is pretty weak. Like just silencing the War Leader is not the greatest answer, and we'd prefer to be playing Fiery War Axe or Blood Razor. Yeah. Particularly bad if they have Valve in it. Actually don't. Do want to try and get some of these cards out of my hand so they don't get a big Divine Favor off. Don't think we can stop it though. Like if they have 2 1-drops and a Divine Favor for 4, we're definitely fighting uphill. Though I have found that ultimately you do end up feeding them quite a lot of cards because of Battle Rage and Acolyte of Pain.
What now?
Get down. Sweet. It's good to take care of that. Also puts damage on our core chronolith, which is definitely not. It isn't nothing, if that makes sense. So I guess this is their Divine Favor turn? No. Just gonna hit for 8. Just trying to be conscious of not giving them the best trades with this Silver Hand Recruit. Putting 4 damage on that Hydra means we might, with the Blood Razor Whirlwind, we might actually be able to trade in. Interesting. So we can... We can't Spellbreaker and Blood Razor at this, like, on the same turn, unfortunately. Slightly awkward there. We might be in this situation where we have to hero power every turn, which is doesn't combo well with trying to get a bunch of cards out of our hand to reduce their ability to draw cards. Land over sack. So we can slam this. I guess we want to play this Spellbreaker. Get something on board to try and trade with. We're dead to a lot of things, so any weapon. Definitely an uphill fight, because we have to try and resolve one of these Mithril Spellstones. Not die the turn after that, and then, like, kill them back. That's pretty good. Unfortunate. Yeah. I'm not too sure what to say about that match. Definitely had a couple of awkward turns, but our opponent had made the right choices, and that Bittertide Hydra was pretty good. Usually, Bittertide Hydra is kind of a liability against us because we have so many whirlwind effects. You can actually kind of race around it, if that makes sense. Alright. Hunter. So, question is it Spell Hunter or is it just Aggro Hunter? If it's Spell Hunter, it's a really hard match. If it's aggro, we might want to keep this Firefly. Let's try and hit some of our Spellstones and our weapons. Great. So we've got a good like 1-drop, coin 3, 3, 4. We will attack with our hook. So probably Spell Hunter or Secret Hunter or great. Unfortunately, in this, because we have a lot of like reactive cards that are trying to combat opposing minions. Deadly shot. Because we have a lot of that kind of stuff, we just like have a lot of really unfortunate plays. Like we need quite a good hand, I think, to compete with Spell Hunter. Yep. And if they have the Spellstone, like that's a card that we can't really beat unless we resolve our own Spellstone, but that comes out so much later. See if we can run this Acolyte into a Wandering Monster or a Freezing Trap, or get the last charge out of this Eaglehorn Bow. Yep, it's a lot of wolves. Yeah, unfortunately this is 12 and 12, so we die before our golems even get to attack. Well, you get to take out a wolf and a MC tech next turn, but yeah. Oh wait, we didn't. Yeah, we still have 2 charges on this Blood Razor. Yeah, that's a really tough one. I don't know if how you'd be able to improve that that matchup. Maybe maybe cutting the Cruel Taskmasters for more proactive threats. Hey Charles, how you going? We are playing some Spellstone Warrior. and not having a good time of it. Definitely having some like great games last night. Managed to get quite a lot of wins. We're seeing a lot of paladins, but a bit of a mixed bag here today. That being said, this deck definitely was going to be the hardest one. Alright, let's see if we're taking 5 or if our coin is getting counterspelled. We're taking 5, 6, 7. I think we'll save this coin. Very keen to run this coin into a counter spell. And the other warrior list that I was playing around with was more of a like whirlwind focused list with cornered sentry as one of the rares instead of mithril spellstone. Just like doing some junk with that. Great. Happy to exchange our coin for like half of their Arcanologist. Set up our Acolyte as well for our Ravaging Ghoul. I don't want to get this off the board though. Probably should have attacked first. I'm not sure if that slam changes anything. Attack, slam. And then we can't kill it, yeah. So we just play like a loot order or something. Restorer. Yeah, if this hits us, well, it's a bad spot because we're low enough that they'll just try and burn us out, and we're pretty susceptible to that. Like no taunts, the only armor gain is the armor up. The whirlwind version of this deck definitely had a better matchup against a lot of these mage decks because of like Dry Whisker, the guy that 2-drop 2/2 that gains you armor. So Identifiable here, which is totally a believable card that they would have. But if they don't have it, you might be able to stabilize by armoring up every turn. Digging for our death. Simulacrum. They took Simulacrum off Primordial Glyph. Huh. Still dead to Fireball. And now, the, Portal. No. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ugh, just trying to figure out ways that we can. I was trying to see there if we could draw more than 2 cards to try and fish for another like another whirlwind effect. That's Frostbolt Fireball. It's the way we end with a Whimper. All right, unfortunately losing 4 in a row there. Maybe last night people were a bit sleepier. We got away with more, but unfortunately Warrior is a bit handicapped at the moment, just with not a great card selection, and particularly not a great budget card selection. Most good Warrior decks are the controlling kind, so that's unfortunate. But I think if you play this deck at you know, some of the higher ranks, you should have some success, and I'd love to hear about it. If you think there's any changes that we should be making, you've got any sweet Warrior builds, definitely let me know. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.